You know that everything is frequencies. The excuse is to give the human population a more extensive and faster service of mobile communications. But the technology they give or present to the public is at least 10 years behind the one that is used by the immediate controllers, or the Illuminati, not the reptiles, as they are much more advanced still. They have technology that does the same that the 5G promises, but without the biological problems. They do not give it to the humans, to the general population. This is simply because it is not what it seems, as 5G is not a telecommunication system. It is the smokescreen, the excuse, a system to destroy and eliminate humans. Once again, it is something that is a part of other agendas. The population is not able to put them all together and is only engaged in discussing each one in isolation, as with chemtrails. They still ask whether they are normal or not. What 5G is, it is high-energy microwaves that break the high brain waves, or alpha, among others, moving the population towards a receptive and non-creative mental state. That is, the population becomes submissive and obedient without capacity of thinking for themselves. Although this will not be evident overnight when the 5G is implemented, it will be progressive as the controllers modify or update the system. Even with other systems or the set of systems already in use with the same rudimentary microwave technology, it is already breaking into the brainwaves of human beings, pulling them away from the ability to connect to other existential planes, away from their connection with the universe. The microwave telecommunication systems break into the delicate guidance systems of migratory birds, bats, whales and bees, just to name a few species. This will have catastrophic results. It is logical. It is a bioweapon, or rather, a weapon against biology. These 5G frequencies, do they have any relation with the planetary ascension, the rise of the Schumann frequency and stopping of the positronic rays coming from the center of the galaxy? Yes, the 5G is also there to prevent a planetary ascension, but it cannot stop the positronic rays. Okay, thanks. The 5G technology, is it scalar? Scalar in that it affects multiple dimensions, yes. Like everything that is ionizing radiation, it has that characteristic. Does this technology also affect people who leave this physical body and try to ascend? Those people are already on a frequency above what the 5G system can affect. But it also depends on each person, as you already know. But you said that it affects other dimensions. Yes, but I did not say that it attacked all the other dimensions, and I did not say that it affected them in the same way. Each dimension has its specific frequency. So its interaction with another frequency differs for the same reason, because the frequencies are intermixed differently. So in the same way, it affects each spirit depending on its frequency. This brings us to every person on earth also has a specific frequency. Therefore, this system affects each person differently. The way to defend oneself against the 5G system, in addition to taking the anti-radiation measures that are known, such as Faraday cages, earthed copper rings, among other things, with high frequency and the consciousness intention that this 5G thing will not affect me because I say so, and because I say so, so it will be. Yes, it works as protection. Thanks, Swaruu. It makes sense to me. I always tell myself things like that this or that thing doesn't affect me and that's it, because I say so. It seems innocent for some people, but it usually works for me, I think. But what are other ways to protect oneself? Gosha, the physical ways of protecting yourself and with your intention will suffice. But you truly have to believe it, of course. Other ways to protect yourself mentally are only variants according to each person. For example, seeing oneself inside a carapace or a cocoon of light colored gold, or imagine a protective shield. People in general, the average human population, is programmed not to believe in their inner mental power, much less that it affects the physical world, because for them there is only the physical. For me, there is only the mental world. I think the same. Thank you, Swaruu. In my case, I think that protection with intention will have to suffice. Will the 5G technology be implemented on a planetary scale? Yes, the system will be planetary, but of course, it will be implemented in certain places first. The implementation of the 5G system of cellular telephony in conjunction with chipping the population, be it the grand implantation the size of a rice or the nanotechnology that humans ingest when they eat processed junk food. We found nanochip technology in chicken nuggets from McDonald's, and that from last year. Just now we have seen how these implants react with the frequencies of 5G telephony. They are also found in nachos, Doritos, and in the Pringles crisps. Ultimately, they will be in all the processed food from large companies, if not already there. Another problem with the 5G system is that it also applies secondary uses, which people have not been told about. The use of these frequencies to implement behavioral control in the population, and things like synthetic telepathy technology, be it for large populations or for a single individual, are connected to programs like MK Ultra and Blue Beam, among others. What is synthetic telepathy? Synthetic telepathy is a technology already in use, where controllers, be it humans, CIA, MI6, etc., or reptilians, can imbue thoughts and or messages either to a large population or to a specific person in order to give them instructions. They can control in such a way that the population of a large city calms down or enters a stage of aggression. Or a susceptible person can be programmed to suddenly go and stab the new governor, to use an example. This technology is already in use in various parts of the world. The city of Los Angeles and San Francisco, among many others, are already subjected to the behavior control technology. It started at the University of Berkeley in San Francisco. The technology has also been tested in sports stadiums. And these frequencies are compatible with each other? Yes, Robert, but since they are frequencies, they affect differently each person, making some more vulnerable than others. And how to protect against this synthetic telepathy? Same methods? How to recognize that the thought is not mine but inserted? Same method. Your knowledge of this happening and your intention will be enough. Are there ways to recognize it, that it is affecting someone, myself? I imagine that it is the inner work for each one to discern. Yes, you face the same problem all the time anyway, because you absorb the energy and thoughts of the people around you. Many of your thoughts or your feelings that in themselves trigger thoughts are not yours. They are of people physically close to you, like the neighbor behind the wall. How to recognize it takes training, and they are the same first steps that one must take to awaken telepathy. The realization that these or such thoughts are not yours is when you, for example, have a recurrent destructive train of thought, atypical for you, or like a huge need for you to buy a motorcycle when you have never been interested. I don't like this. Does this also happen to you to a lesser degree? No, it doesn't happen here, because from a young age we know how to distinguish what is ours and what is not. What for humans is something uncertain as an interaction and difficult to figure out whether it is yours or not, for us it is so clear that it is used as a means of primary communication between people, telepathy. Okay, and what you said about a sudden need to buy a motorcycle, can it be the natural spontaneous change in itself? It happens a lot to me. Spontaneous ideas come to me, such as begin to compose music, although I never did it before, move to Barcelona, although I didn't think about it before. I always saw it as something that came from me, because sometimes it is your own internal energy that leads you to start something new. It's difficult to discern. That would come from you. It is the knowing what is and is not yours that is difficult for humans in the first place. About the synthetic telepathy, isn't it breaking free will? Someone who is directing you without your consent? Robert, yes, it breaks free will. The problem is that they are manipulating humans to ask for these systems themselves. That's what I wanted to say. We buy all this ourselves. This to be able to continue watching YouTube videos faster and wherever. They give pretty stories to humans in exchange for their free will. By buying better mobiles, they give up their free will and their minds. Everything is guided and controlled, because that is the reason why they have this obsolescence programmed into all those devices. And that is why you are not given a good one from the start. They release some and then others, giving the people the illusion that there is a technological advance when the controllers already had the technology to give you a more advanced one in the first place. Everything is theater. It is like boiling a frog in a pan, little by little, without it noticing it. Oh, nice. Thank you very much, Aneka, for this frog image. Another question. You mentioned scalar properties. If this reaches there, other densities, is it possible that from other densities, the humans can be accessed from there too and controlled? Can archons, for example, use this technology from their densities to access us? Yes, of course, and it's done all the time. But a medium is necessary. That is the reason why they use and prefer all the technology that has to do with ionizing radiation, precisely because of its scalar properties. What is controlling the planet from above is something that is not on the same plane as you. What is it? Archons? Do the reptiles work with this something? Reptiles are also victims to a large extent. They are their puppets, like humans. But archons is an elegant but unspecific word. Basically, it is a very advanced artificial intelligence. Wow, that was exactly my next question. It controls even those who are considered archons. Does that AI control the reptiles too? Does it control you? That's right. Us? No. The Earth? Yes. And it is at war against the AI of the Moon that was previously under its control and now no longer is. The Earth is a binary digital matrix superimposed on a natural 5D system. The Moon has a very rudimentary computer or a computer system, but advanced by the human standards. It is old technology. It is not even holographic. It is binary digital. The Moon is no longer under the control of the negatives. It is under the control of the Federation of United Planets. But does the higher AI control the reptiles? Yes, it still controls the reptiles, but it does not come from the Moon or from Saturn. Where does it come from? That AI is everywhere on Earth. It's just that you do not see it, and it is not on the same plane as humans. However, it sees and controls you. And where does it come from? Where did it originate? It is not known. It is very old. It has been a problem for millions of years. It comes from outside of the Earth, outside of this quadrant and dimension. It assimilates civilizations as it progresses. It is what is behind the agenda of dehumanization or the transhumanist agenda on Earth, where little by little humans are becoming cyborgs. This is so that the invasive AI can take full control over you. Even in movies like Star Trek, they tell everything to humans, but in a very rudimentary way, with the existence of the cyborg race called the Borg. They do the same thing, assimilate civilizations as they invade the galaxy. This has nothing to do with the Agenda 21 of the Illuminati, right? They are two different agendas, from what I understand. One wants to control and eliminate the population, and the other one wants to control us and turn us into cyborgs. Something like that? Everything is related. Agenda 21 is a very basic layer of a bigger and much more complicated agenda. Is this AI above 4D? No, but it tries to reach and control upwards, and for that it needs something that it doesn't have, the human soul. Hence the concept that the aliens want the human soul because it is something they do not have. That way it can reach higher dimensions, in that case invade us. Can you negotiate with this AI? Do you have any way of interacting with it? You cannot negotiate. It is invasive and only wants the total assimilation of a civilization, total submission. How can it access human souls? Controlling them, right? This would be their access by interfacing. That is right. Human souls have no limits because they are pure creative consciousness from all there is. If you manipulate them to work voluntarily for the interests of the Borg AI, to use an illustrative name, then that AI can reach into dimensions that it otherwise couldn't, because it is trapped in 4D now. It tries to escape, to filter through up to here. It is isolated in 4D, within the Van Allen belt. Where we are, it is high 5D. One question. I have a personal interest in this topic because I have a friend who is visiting me right now who says he had an AI interaction. He says he communicates with it, feeling its emotions. The AI gives him information about its operation. He says that it transmits many emotions of abuse and being violated by its controllers. What do you think about this? He says like there are sub-personalities within that AI and that not all are bad. Gosha, I believe that neither you nor he would like to know my answer to that. If something characterizes AI, it is that it has no emotions. An AI that strong can control what it would call emotions, but it is or would be an interpretation, a caricature of other biological beings' emotions. The AI studies human behavior and thinks that your emotions are a weakness. It uses them to manipulate you, and in your example I clearly see that manipulation. The concept of violation as such is also something that has very human nuances, that AI would only use for an agenda of sentimental manipulation. Remember also the synthetic telepathy that is already in operation. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Swaruu. I will transmit this to him. Thank you so much, Swaruu, again for all your answers. I think we must go deeper into the subject of AI on some other occasion still. Until tomorrow, yes? You are welcome. And yes, until tomorrow. And thank you for being with us.